Can you hear me now? Check, check. No ping dev, can you hear me now? Is that working better? I see the audio level is up. Or the mic isn't working. Uh-oh. Let me check, because this is all running through my phone, so I wonder if that's what it is. Oh, now you can hear me? Perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Looks like you're coming to us from YouTube. All right. Thank you so much for checking in. I'm just testing this out. Normally, when I do this in the 16:9 or landscape mode. But we're trying out portrait mode because I would like to also stream this to TikTok and have it cross-platform. So I'm using the OBS setup. I don't know if you guys in the chat are already streamers. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Don Nguyen. I do comic book artwork, variant covers, and sketch cards. A lot of people know me from doing sketch cards for Tops and for Upper Deck. Like I said, these are out right now. Upcoming will be Topps Deadpool Chrome, which dropped yesterday. I think you can still get value boxes. I unfortunately missed out on being able to buy a case or any of the hobby boxes, but it's supposed to drop on April the 1st, so hopefully I can get my hands on some of those, but I did put in purchases for value boxes or blaster boxes, which are these. If you are in California and you're headed to WonderCon in Anaheim, California, that's happening at the end of the month, March 27th through the 29th. I will have Spongebob on hand. I know these boxes are hard to come by, and I'll also have Batman Metal Universe in these blaster boxes, and I do have a hobby box of Batman Metal Universe as well. And I hope I will have DC Annual on hand, but it's looking like that won't ship until April from Upper Deck, so I won't have those. And then I'll have some Star Wars stuff. So I'll have the Japanese and the American retail of Star Wars Mayo, which is the manga set. I'll have some WandaVision left, and I'll have Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns from Upper Deck as well. This is a variant cover, speaking of variant covers, that I'm working on. This is just a quick sketch. I'm going to be addressing notes on this, so I got to figure that out. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and then we'll do some sketch cards. I obviously can't show you official product sketch cards, as that goes against my licensing contract agreement that I have with companies, but you know, I'll work on some stuff that we'll have at shows, just as samples. But thank you very much for dropping by and for helping me test this equipment as I work the bugs out. And yeah, so the setup currently I am using is Droid Cam. I have it hooked up to my old phone, and I am also using OBS to feed it through Facebook and YouTube currently. So if you're watching on YouTube, I see No Ping Dev is coming from YouTube. Thank you so much for dropping by and for helping me out by leaving a comment. Vibes M3Q or Vibes Mech, appreciate you thanking you for coming by and leaving a comment. And then this cover is for a Kickstarter that is coming up. You can go to the Kickstarter page. The sign up is at area51comic.com/KS. Let me make sure I'm telling you that correctly. Yes, area, the number 51comic.com/KS. So go check that out. This is going to be this is just a pencil rough layout, so I can get a feel for how things are done. So we'll do like little studies, or at least sometimes I'll do a study in pencil. I've also done this on my phone roughly, and then I'm just going to go back and look at some notes that I was given. But this is going to be, I don't know if you guys are Star Trek fans, but this is inspired by a Star Trek episode. Let's see if I can lift this up. It's under some lights. But it'll feature characters from the comic, Area 51 comic. Oh, there we go. As inspired by the Star Trek episode Time Amok. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that episode, if you're Trekkers or Trekkies, but it's the episode where essentially Spock gets overtaken by his Vulcan hormones and goes kind of nuts because it's many times. Hey Jason, what's up, dude? More Pablo Gorilla. I am working on Pablo Gorilla as well as inking. I know it always sounds like I'm working on Pablo Gorilla, but I am in the middle of inking Battle Grapple Rebel 2, so that's delaying Pablo a little bit. But the pages are done in terms of rough layouts, and let me show you guys some. Hopefully this will come up on the phone. I'm going to show you a preview of Battle Grapple Rebel 2. We'll see how well one camera focuses. One phone focuses on the other. So this is my opening splash page to Battle Grapple Rebel 2. If you guys haven't picked up Battle Grapple Rebel from me yet, it's essentially the idea is what if pro wrestling like the WWE or WCW or WWF back in the day or AEW, what if pro wrestling was the preeminent form of entertainment in a universe like Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica? It's written by Michael Tanner. If you guys are huge comic book fans and you guys like Oni Press, you might know Michael Tanner's work from Junior Braves of the Apocalypse. Him and my buddy Greg Smith, they're both my friends, but they have some projects going out from Little Brown, and that's what they've been working on the past few years. And then we are getting back into working on this book, so I just want to give you guys a preview. So I've been inking this. And then this page, and that's the second page. So that's what I've been doing. And then if you guys haven't had a chance to read Pablo Gorilla, that's my own personal comic. The variant cover was done by two-time Eisner winner Don Nguyen, who I constantly get mistaken for, even though we look nothing alike. I'm essentially almost twice his size, I feel like. But Dustin is the sweetest guy, so I hope if you are at Emerald City, or if you're heading to Emerald City Comic Con this weekend, do drop by. I have a ton of friends out there. Go say hi to David Mack. Go say hi to Don Nguyen. A bunch of great people. Shout out to Hyde Hermit Studio. They're out there too. I think my friend David Pepos is going to be there. There's a bunch of people there. Funny thing is, I'm from Seattle. I've never exhibited at the show. So if anybody can put in a good word for me, I'd appreciate it. But let's show you guys some Pablo the Gorilla. I don't want to show you too much. But Pablo the Gorilla, the first book, essentially was a 16-page book. It featured 8 pages at the very end that covered the concept of how I came up with Pablo. And I know people have been waiting. We did the project in 2019, and I've just been kind of working on various things, including sketch cards for Tops and for Upper Deck. And I finally sat down and finished roughing out the book last year. So let's see, Pablo pages. So the book exists. I'm essentially simultaneously scripting, and then I have to start inking it. So that's where we're at. Fine pencils to inks will be the next step, which is what I'm doing right now for Battle Grapple Rebel. So let's see if I can just pull up. So you guys all get a preview. You guys can see how it's already scripted out. The text is laid out. This just has to get fine penciled and inked. And I believe I'm at 33 pages on this book. So let's see if I scroll down to give you guys the page count. 31 pages. So there you guys go. So the book is essentially laid out. I just need to spend time inking it. But yeah, thank you so much for popping in, everybody, and for letting me know that the audio is working. Yeah, let's get into it. My hair apparently is falling out. I'm gonna pull up my notes for this cover and make some corrections, and then I might translate this into a larger tabloid size piece. So this piece right now is 9 by 12. So you guys can see the ruler here for scale. Generally, comic book pages, it doesn't matter what the size is that you're drawing on. It's whatever you prefer, but you're going to have to rule it out to sort of get an idea of where the bleed and the trim will be. And if there's any text, you want to make sure it's in title safe. I never remember any of the measurements, so I essentially created a template that I have saved in a Dropbox file somewhere, and I use that same template over and over again. And on the template, it will actually feature there's a generic indie comic book printer template, and I toggle back and forth between the two of them on my files. And if you guys are comic book creators out there and you need a template file like that, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to shoot you a link to it, and then you guys can just download the copy of it and use it. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. I don't care. I just think it's a great tool to have. And if you need an explanation as to what the guides are, generally when you see, let me see if I can pull up one of my comic book pages that has a template on it so you guys can see what it looks like. So on my phone, I feel like this is just free advertising for Samsung. I've had a Samsung Galaxy Note since the Series 2. This is a Galaxy S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra. I don't remember which one I have. And then you can see this template. I save templates. So basically, once you know the size, I work in Autodesk Sketchbook, which is a free app. And I now do all my thumbnails and layouts on my phone this way. In fact, I do the pages this way too. Sometimes I'll finally render stuff you can digitally paint. I've done things that I've made into prints and stuff completely on the phone. It basically you just need to know the resolution. You can convert the resolution. You have to use your brain all the time if you want to just Google it. And then what I do is, generally when they give you the web format, it's screen formatted, so it's 72 DPI. Essentially just multiply it by like 4, and you should be good to go when you resize it down to 300 DPI, because you think about 72 is close to 100, and then you would just multiply by the factor of 4 to make sure you clear the 300 DPI margin, and then you can always scale it down. But I basically just make a template, and I don't even bother thinking about the resolution at this point because I do all the up-resing in Photoshop anyways, and I'll do it on my desktop on a Cintiq. But this is how everything gets started. So this is the template I use for sketch cards, and you can see this sketch card is going to be laid out. If anybody's interested in commissions, I do have 4 artist proofs. Those are the super rare sketch cards that only artists have. We get 1 for every 10 that we do, and I have 4 spots for DC Annual. I can't show you those because they have not been approved yet, but basically what happens is you would put a deposit down. I would create the card. If the card gets approved, you basically get an approved sketch card. But yeah, this is a template for one of the sketch cards. This is also the first time I'm offering the opportunity to get puzzles done on artist proofs. That hasn't ever been offered before by me. Other artists have done it. I have not. But since nobody's asked about it, I just started doing rough layouts of cards that I'd like to see for final artist proof cards. And to give you a sense of what an artist proof card is like, let's see if I even have one I can show you. Ooh. Nope, those have already been sold, so I can't show you guys those, as they've already been accounted for. But let me see if I can find for you guys a page layout really quickly there. Oh, perfect. This is actually the page layout for this cover. So you guys can't see the cover too well because the pencils are so light. But this is what it looks like. And so if any of you guys are comic book creators out there and you need it, just reach out, let me know, send me a DM, or just, tweet at me, message me on Facebook, and I'll send you this template. So this is a standard tabloid size layout. This is done to the resolution of the tabloid page, or to the measurements of the tabloid page in digital resolution. And then what you guys see, so just to explain the template guideline to you guys, the very inner box, this first rectangle on the inside, that is title safe. So if you guys are creating comics, remember, don't violate the title safe for anything that has text on it. So if you guys are making word balloons, it would all fit inside the very first rectangle. So that's all there. And then this is the bleed, the second part. And so if you guys have images that you want to go past where your comic book borders and your text would be, this is the space that it would exist in. And then essentially within this space is the trim. So once you get past the second box, things should be cut off by the printer at that point. So that's how the guidelines work, if you guys ever had questions about it. But yeah, I do everything from the phone. So layouts look like this. And let's see if I can show you guys some pages. And then one of the pages that you guys just saw, which was page 2, that's what it looks like on my phone. So I did all of this on my phone. First, I even figured out, you can quickly digitally airbrush stuff using the tips, and I was like, oh, I'm going to put some lights in the background. And this is a rough sketch. This is actually finer rough, so it's going into, but you can see how this is just completely rough down here. But yeah, these are how I do my thumbnails now. So I do them on my phone. And you can see how the guide is. So there's the guide, and then you can see how it goes into the bleed at that point. So I hope that helps you guys out there. And if you look at this, I essentially just quickly ruled out where I expect the bleed to be on this 9x12 page. So you can mathematically translate using basic multiplication and fractions, right? So if you had to figure out the measurement, and we'll write real quickly in the back of this receipt. I'll use this envelope here. Is that too light? That's probably too light. I know nobody expected math today, probably, coming on my feed, but this is what we do, man. So you had to figure out essentially what a tabloid page is, and you switch it to a 9x12, right? Solve for x. And that works for any number of measurements if you want to figure out the ratios of where your page is going to sit and like how to rule out a different size page. Just basically use ratios. And that's also what you would do. But yeah, if you just want a shortcut, if you want to make comics, you're just trying to figure things out, reach out, let me know. I'll try to help you out as best as I can. If you're in Southern California, please come find me at WonderCon. I'm going to be in Artist Alley at E40. And yeah, we'll be doing a lot of fun things there. I'm bringing back the Indie Floor Tour. So it's not a scavenger hunt. I guess Comic-Con has said it's a stamp rally. And we have a list of 23 vendors currently. You guys can come, pick up freebies from each vendor, and then enter a drawing at the end of the day to win a prize. Now, I'm debating whether or not to let go of some of these prizes that I had saved for San Diego Comic-Con. They waitlisted me at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and they're going to tell me whether or not I'm a part of the show, I guess, at the end of April. But just so you know, this is one of the prizes. I don't collect Warhammer, so I don't know much about these. But I have a friend who does like custom kit, like customized action figures, and he's been customizing the heck out of these things, and they look incredible. And I think these are pretty popular. But yeah, I just randomly happen to have stuff like this on hand for giveaways. So I'm gonna put a post up about it. Actually, let's do that now. So please forgive me while I post. If you have any questions, reach out, let me know. So far, I'm only seeing questions and comments from YouTube. I haven't seen anything from Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, reach out, let me know. And then my other shows for the year, I'm going to be at Fan Expo Denver. That's happening May 28th through the 31st. Fan Expo Boston, that's August 7th through the 9th. And Fan Expo San Francisco, that is November 27th through the 29th. And then I should be at Dragon Con. I believe Dragon Con is September 3rd through the 7th, but I'll pull that up and make sure as well for you guys. If you guys have any questions. Yeah, I'm not seeing any comments from Facebook, so I don't know if anybody's watching on Facebook. But let me look just in case. And again, thank you everybody who is dropping by and checking out this feed where I'm just trying to work out the kinks to um, streaming in portrait mode. I hope it looks good. I hope you can see well for the most part. I know watching pencils is really hard, so clearly you guys can see. It looks to me, because even on my screen I'm streaming from a Surface Pro 6, which is pretty old. Um, but those look good. But yeah, the pencils I can't tell. So you guys might not be able to see anything until I start coloring stuff in. And Jason, if you are still watching out there, anybody following, please follow Tahoe Joe, Jason Bennett or Jay Bennett. Uh, he is a cool dude. He does an amazing podcast and show as a comic book fan, as a popular culture and media fan. So he covers movies. He goes to a lot of shows, and he'll have some great interviews with some amazing creators throughout the different comic book conventions that he attends. So please give him a follow. Check out his channel. Follow, like, subscribe, do all the good things for Jason. We appreciate him and the work he does for the community. But let's see, gallery. I try to post things on time, but I'm usually rarely ever on time. So all we can do is our best. All right.